So, Hare Krishna, Dhanvat Pranams to all. Today is Saturday, August 8th, and uh, for several weeks, every week, we have been discussing the Samsara Davanal Prayers, known as the Gurvashtakam, um, composed by great Vaishnava Acharya. Like Rupa Goswami mentions that he is the crest jewel of the Gaudiya Vaishnanva, Srila Vishwanath Chakravati, who composed this wonderful prayers of Samsara Davanal. So last time we had actually discussed in verse number 7 certain important points. So I will simply revise this verse quickly from the beginning. That way, we all are reconnected in our thoughts and our reflections. So Sakshat Haritena Samasta Shastra Uktas Tatha Bhav Yataiva Sadbi Kinto Prabhoya Priyaiva Tasya Vande Guru Sri Charnarvindam. So we understood the meaning of the word Sakshat. Samyak Akshat iti Sakshat. Samyak means all, complete, and Akshat means our senses. So when we directly perceive with our own senses, that is called Sakshat. Haritena, the representative of the Supreme Lord, the pure Guru, the Vaishnava Acharya, is Haritvena. He's got the Haritvena means the quality of Hari. And it is the opinion that he has got all the qualities of Hari, that great Vaishnava Acharyas or those great Vaishnava Acharyas have the quality of Hari, because it is the opinions of Samasta, all Shastrai, of all scriptures, and also it has been acknowledged, Uktaha, Tatha, Bhavyate is considered eva sadvi, certainly, or also sadvi means the great personalities, the great sadhus. So anything that Prabhupada used to always bring home this point or harp on this point, that one should not whimsically speak something in regards to philosophical or even spiritual subjects unless and until it is confirmed by three sources: Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. It's very, very important. Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra has to confirm it. And without that, if one is simply putting their own point, then it has no value as such. Because the thing is that in this world today, many people are accustomed to a lot of sentimentalism. Supposing if we are following a certain path, or we are following a certain faith, or we are born in a certain community or a family, or so the things that we are conditioned souls. That is the word that Prabhupada loved to again and again mention. We are conditioned soul. Conditioned soul means we are on the Dehatma Buddhi, on the bodily platform. And when we are on a bodily platform, then we always identify ourselves with our body, and we will always identify ourselves with everything around us that is emanating from the body, or it is something to do or in connection with this body. So for example, if I was born to Gujarati parents, and I'm originally speaking, my mother tongue is Gujarati, so I identify myself as Gujarati. Somebody is speaking Bengali, he identifies himself as Bengali, etc., because he's born in Bengal, his parents are Bengali, etc. And then it extends to the bodily extensions, which is called which is known as the relatives or swajana. Swajana means those that emanate from this body. So the children, parents, etc. These are all connections, or bodily connections. So that is the Atma Buddhi, and that is called conditioning. So this conditioning limits us, and it even makes us sentimental without understanding. Little bit knowledge sometimes we may have about the scripture, and then we kind of without the proper understanding given by the pure devotees and confirmed by the shastras, Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, if that is not confirmed, then there is some defect in that statement or that line of thought. So it's very important. So many people in India especially, we see that they make falana a certain person Bhagwan. They even address him as Bhagwan. And we know many cases like that, not to name. And it is because of the sentimentalism of that. And they never, those persons, either they are so foolish that they call themselves Bhagwan and they accept the position of Bhagwan because of the pratishtha, because of the self-eulogizing uh, uh, propensity, and that is a pure conditioned soul under the influence of Maya. And that is not, anytime there is an avatar, it is always recorded in Shastra, and it is always sung and confirmed by the pure devotees of the Lord. One should not whimsically accept anybody as Bhagwan. This is very important. Unless and until it is proven. Like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna. There are so many references in the Shastra. Some of them are in a very subtle way, but they are given, and those subtle explanations have been expounded by the great acharyas, explaining the details. Even Srimad Bhagavatam has a wonderful verse that clearly explains how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has descended from the spiritual world along with his associates. Krishna, Varuna, Krisha, Krishnam, Sango, Pango, Parshadam, Sango, Pango, Parshadam, Kirtan, I forgot the next line. Kirtan something, and then Krishna Varnam Tisha Krishnam Sango Pango Parshadam Yagyer Prayer Kirtana Yajanti hi Sumadesha. And he is actually propagating the Sankirtan Yagya, and those who are intelligent take to this Sankirtan, chanting of the Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So here it is said Krishna Varnam. Yeah, he as Krishna Varnam means he is always, Varna means to describe. Varnan. He's always describing Krishna. He's always talking about Krishna Varnam. But his complexion is a Krishna. Krishna is dark in color. He is Sham Sundar, like a dark cloud. But he is the opposite of that color. So Srimad Bhagavatam is clearly defined so many different avatars, how they will come. And even in the Mahabharata, there is a nice explanation, a verse that actually speaks about the descent of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we should not accept any person sentimentally as Bhagwan. That would be a big aparat. Although the person may be very saintly, we see that many sects are like I have to kind of mention this because it is important. Some of those persons don't say that they are Bhagwan, but after they leave, these persons who are followers sentimentally call them Bhagwan. For example, Jesus Christ. He has clearly declared that I am the Son of God. But then his followers sentimentally says that he is God. Why? Because on one sentence, that I and my Father are one. So that oneness they do not understand. They take that sentence in that particular facet, or they look at it from that dimension, that Christ and God are one. That oneness is Vaishnava oneness. Oneness is the Sakshat Haritvina, which we had explained, that the qualities of the Supreme Lord are there in those great Vaishnavas because they are so Krishnaized, staying with Krishna and thinking about Krishna, and especially the most important principle of Vaishnavism is that Anukulina Krishna Anushilanam Tad Bhakti Ruttam. So when one acts in such a way, a real Vaishnava will always act for the pleasure of Radha Krishna. And Anukulina Krishna Anushilanam. And that is Uttam Bhakti. So when somebody acts in such a way that one always gives pleasure to Radha Krishna, when we say Krishna, automatically Radharani is included. So please try to understand, in our Gaudiya Vaishnavism, when the word Krishna is used, Prabhupada has explained, just like a prime minister or a president, when we say the prime minister of India is going to the United States, so he doesn't go alone. His entire aircraft is full of ministers and advisors, and even his personal assistants and so many other personalities. So it's the whole parshad, or the whole the entire associates. So whenever there is a great personality, he is never alone. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Jibe Daya Kori Swa Parshad Siyo Dham Saha Utari Atyanta Durlabha Prem Kori Baredan Sikhaya Sharanagati Bhakatero Pran. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Jive Daya Kori, he out of pure compassion for the fallen souls, Jive Daya Kori Swa Parshad Siyo Dham, along with his associates and along with his dham, Saha Avatari, along with them, he appeared here in this world. So that's why when we have to understand that Krishna is never alone. When we say Krishna, especially the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, the moment the word Krishna comes from a Gaudiya Vaishnava's mouth, it automatically means not only Radharani, the entire Hara, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said, Namnamakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shakti, so that the word Hare, when we are addressing Hara, it automatically means Radharani as the head and all the expanse of Srimati Radharani, including the gopis, the manjaris, and all the whole Vraj is included just in that one word Hara. So we have to understand, because Hare Krishna Mahamantra, why is it Mahamantra? We do not understand the potency of this great Mahamantra just in this word Hara alone. Hara comes from the word Hari. It is again the quality of Hari. Hari means to steal, and in general meaning, he steals away the pap. Anek arjit papa choram. Chora agragarnyam purusham namami. He takes away, he steals the sins of all, from many births, from Anadikal. That is the quality of Hari. Hari is not somebody ordinary. Like we have a very, very big baggage, unlimited baggage of karma, one after another, and it is snowballing. It is not coming to an end. Just like somebody who borrows money at a very high interest rate. Let's say, supposing if somebody borrows money at 50% interest rate, just calculate what will be the minimum payment and how many years it will take. If you look at the credit card statements here, especially in North America, they make this declaration when you apply for a credit card, and they give you an example. But supposing if you borrow $10,000, that's what your balance on your credit card is, and if you make minimum payments, so let's say your minimum payment is only $50 a month, it will take you X number of years to just finish to cover the entire loan. So even in India, we have seen when we were in our childhood, we have seen certain movies wherein the saukar or the landlord the poor farmer used to borrow money, put their land as girvi, a ransom, they would mortgage their land, and the saukar would give a few thousand rupees, and then he would make them put that what do you call, the thumbprint on the papers, and then there would be a very exorbitant rate of interest. So he will say, well, okay, you have to pay me so many rupees back a month, but that person throughout his life has made that payment, and then after he dies, his son makes the payment. Still that land is not free. It is not free of debt. It is still encumbrance. There is an encumbrance on that land as per the documents that were drafted, and then that person who is the landlord, who has given money, when he dies, it continues on with his son and his son and his son, and in that way they inherit so much land. They have usurped so much land from the poor, uneducated people. So our situation also like that. Our situation is that we have been since Anadikal, since time immemorial. Like Bhaktivinoda Thakur liked using that word. Our acharyas like using this word. We cannot even put a time frame that last 50,000 births or last 1 million births or 1 trillion births. Anadikal, something that you cannot count since time immemorial. Prabhupada translates the word Anadikal as since time immemorial. We cannot even think that back that far. So we have gathered a lot of karma, and karmic reactions keep us in this material world. It keeps us bound again and again. Once we become karma free, then we enter into pure bhakti, and pure bhakti only can deliver us from this samsara. And this pure bhakti is given by these acharyas. That's why Samsara Davanal Lead Loka Tranaya Karunya. Gana Ganatvam Praptasya Kalyana Gunar Ravasya Vande Guroho Sri Charanarvindam. It is these great personalities, these Gurohos, plural again, just not Guru. Many people again and again, I like to bring this point home, that my Guru, your Guru, this Guru, that Guru. No, 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 no. It is Guru Tattva, Guru Ho. See, we keep forgetting, only the Kanishtas think in those terms. Oh, my Guru is coming, so I have to attend, huh? And then I have to be very nice to everybody, huh? Everybody have to be very nice and show my teeth. Prabhu, how are you? Mataji, how are you in front of Guru? This is all cheating, Baji. No, it's Guru Ho. Anytime you see a sadhu, anytime you see a Gaudiya Vaishnava who is giving us Krishna, I like to repeat, Srila Prabhupada's senior God brother, His Holiness, Bhakti Raksha Sridhar Dev Maharaj. In one line he explained, who is Guru? Guru is someone who brings you closer to Krishna. What a beautiful definition. I had read that many years ago, perhaps about 25 years ago, and I've carried that in my heart. Whenever I see somebody where I can learn somebody that can bring my attraction, my mind, my heart to the lotus feet of Krishna, that person is Guru. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given the definition of Guru. Jai Krishna Tattva Veti Shai Guru Hoy. One who knows the concept or the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, Shai Guru Hoy. So this is the principle, not some sentimental. What we are applying is, even after coming to the spiritual realm, to the temple, even after we are initiated and we are actually in a certain institution, what we do is we have this tendency of this material world. Bhaktivinoda Thakur has very nicely explained that although we come to the spiritual world, we come to the temple, etc., our experience is material. All of us, except of course the pure Gurudev. Our experience is material. And what we do is we try to apply that experience of the material world, which is Mike, or which is full of Maya, and try to apply it in the spiritual realm or the spiritual things. And that is where we make a big mistake. Our acharyas never do that. As a matter of fact, Maya, jahan hoy surya adhikar nahi hoite andhkar. Wherever there is Suraj or the sunlight, there darkness has no adhikar. Darkness cannot exist when the sun is there. Similarly, Krishna Surya Saman. It is said, this is in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Lord Krishna is like the brilliant sun. And wherever there is Krishna, Maya cannot exist. And what we are doing is we are trying to impose all the experience that we have from this world of Maya into the spirit. There is no compatibility. And there is always going to be a friction. That friction will never let us transcend our situation. So we have to, one day Guru hosts Sri Charanarvindam. All the entire Guru Tattva is the same. It all emanates from Sri Baldev Prabhu, from Nityananda Prabhu. And this, when it comes purely through the transparent personality in the Avaroha Pantha. Our Pantha is Avaroha when it comes to Kripa or to knowledge. Avaroha means, like those who have studied music, there are two ways that the notes are sung. One is Aroha and one is Avaroha. Aroha means, the example is Sa Re Ga Ma Pa Dha Ni Sa, from lower notes to higher notes. That is Aroha. Avaroha is what? Sa Ni Dha Pa Ma Ga Re Sa. From high notes to low notes. So Kripa flows from Balram Prabhu, Nityananda Prabhu. It flows through the transparent medium of this Sakshat Haritena, through these personalities who have imbibed, who have become one with Krishna. Like Jesus Christ, there's no difference between me and my Father. And we gave those examples, that a person who's a very big multi-billionaire, and he has his own industry and his business, and when his son is already qualified enough to come to the father's office, his father is going to offer a nice chair in his own office and says, my dear son, now you are qualified to come and run the business. And then when the other persons come in a meeting and they say that, you know what, your son has made this decision. Are we okay with that? But the father will immediately say, whatever my son says is fine. There's no difference between me and my son. So does that mean that the son and the father are one body? No, they are one in thinking, one in everything that they, whether feeling, thinking, willing. That is the meaning of oneness. So that is the meaning. That is, it's very important to understand these. Why this is the fourth session on this Sakshat Haritvena. The word Sakshat Haritvena, Haritvena means it's an adjective. Sakshat Haritvena, and Hari is noun. So noun actually, noun and adjective. Noun is noun. Supposing if we make a sentence that he is a good boy. So boy is the noun and good is the adjective here. So that goodness is there in that boy. So that is the adjective. So some people may be of that impression that this particular verse especially is there is a defect. Prabhupada had pointed it out. When they sing this, a lot of the Hindu temples and lot of persons say, what is that verse? They sing Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo, Maheshwara. So this is very wrong. It is nowhere in the, that is why it is not bona fide. Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, this verse has been coined by somebody. And show me where it is, in which Shastra, which verse number. Guru Sakshat, Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Nama. Of course, it is glorifying Guru. But Guru is Brahma, Guru is Vishnu. No. Nowhere is that. So that Gurutva or that quality of Haritva is there in the Guru, because that main quality is thinking, willing, feeling like Hari. Because Hari can take away all our karmic reactions that have been occurred since time immemorial. Just like that Saukar or that landlord and his family is inheriting the debt, that poor farmer. So similarly, we are also very poor. Birth after birth after birth, instead of sometimes decreasing our karma, we are always increasing. It is snowballing. It's a snowball effect. And it is so great that it is almost, not only almost, it is impossible to eradicate karma. And as you all know, you Vaishnavas definitely know the main principle of karma, whether it is good karma or bad karma. Good karma means pious activities, punya, and bad karma means sinful activities, pap. Pap and punya are the cause of the samsara. Samsara means a repeated cycle of birth and death. So if we do punya karma, even if we are doing some wonderful activities like building school, colleges, hospitals, charities, speaking the truth, all these are punya karma. So punya karma, it only takes you to the heavenly planets. Depending on the intensity of your punya karma, one gets the higher. Out of the 6 different heavenly planets, one gets nivas, or one gets residency for a certain period of time in the heavenly planets. After that, what happens? One has to come back to this material world, into the 8,400,000 species of life. And again, depending on our association, if we have acquired a lot of bundles and bundles of pap karma, then at the end of the life, one is dragged by the messengers of death, of Yamraj, into the different 7 hellish planets. And after that, sometime we come back again on this earth planet. So ei rupe brahmand brahmite kono bhagavan jeev Guru Krishna prasade paye bhakti lita bij. So it is by the mercy of Guru and Krishna, because Guru is Sakshat Hari, Haritvena. He has got that quality of Hari. That is why he is Samsara Davanal Loka Tranaya Karunya Gana Ganatvam. And he can extinguish this forest fire of karma from Anadikal. Just like Hari, he is empowered by Hari. He is empowered by Hari to extinguish that forest fire. Forest fire, we explained that in the first verse, is not so easily extinguishable. It is because even if we have the most sophisticated, the fire brigade system, and all the entire towns and the cities, their fire brigades can come and pour water with their fire engines, that is not possible to extinguish a forest fire. It is so vast. It's Davanal. But what extinguishes it? It is the Haritva. That Haritva means the quality of Hari, one who can steal away all the karmas, which is this pure Guru or the pure Guru Ho. They come in the form of torrential rain. Only torrential rain or a thunderstorm can extinguish that karmic fire that we have acquired, that is there in this forest fire of samsara, in the repeated birth and death. So therefore, that Hari is Krishna, and that Hari is Sri Radha. These are wonderful meanings of the word Hari from the Gaudiya Vaishnava perspective. The word Hare, 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 Hari. There are so many connotations, and I explained that in the previous sessions of this word, was just to bring back some important points here. So what is Hari not only takes away our papa, but once we have actually surrendered to him, he actually steals away even our minute independence. I don't think I'd mentioned this point. This is coming to me as I'm speaking right now. That's like, the principle of Sharanagati. Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written a wonderful book called Sharanagati, and he's got so many wonderful bhajans. In the form of bhajans, he has composed this book of Sharanagati. Sharanagati has 6 different limbs or angas. Dainya, Atma Nivedana, Goptrite Varana, Avashya Rakshibe Krishna, Vishwasya Palan, Bhakti Anukula Karya Karejo Svikar, Bhakti Pratikula Bhav, Varjan Angikar. These are the 6 different angas. The Dainya means humility. Atma Nivedan means full surrender, to surrendering everything that we have to Krishna. The Atma Nivedana, Goptrite Varan means Krishna is my provider. Gopta, he is my provider indeed. Atma Nivedana, Goptrite Varan, Avashya Rakshibe Krishna, Vishwasapalan. Krishna will always protect me. I have full faith in that. 4. Number 5, Bhakti Anukul Karya Karejo Svikar. Whatever is conducive to bhakti, one should accept. And number 6, Bhakti Pratikula Bhav Bharjan Angikar. Whatever is not conducive to bhakti, any activities that are not helping in our bhakti, one should reject those. So all these 6 is called Sharanagati. The word Sharanagati means full surrender. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur has very nicely explained. It is composed of 2 words. Sanskrit is always sometimes a combination of more than one word. So Sharan plus Agati, meaning Sharanagati, like Sakshat. Sakshat means Samyak plus Akshat, iti Sakshat. Samyak means full. Akshat means senses. The full, complete senses. Like Sankirtan. Samyak Kirtan iti Sankirtan. Samyak means full Kirtan. A full Kirtan means what? Kirtan that glorifies Radha and Krishna is full Kirtan. So this Hare Krishna Mahamantra is Mahamantra because it glorifies fully Vraj Dham and the Vrajvasis just in the word Hara. So these are all deeper nuances that I'm sharing with you. Just the word Hara alone, it glorifies the entire Vraj Dham. The entire Dham of sweetness is word. It includes Radharani, the pinnacle of bhakti. It includes the Manjaris, it includes the Gopis, it includes the Gopas, it includes the Gokul, it includes the Gokul means a conglomeration of cows. Go means cows. Go means the senses of the devotees. Go means the Gopis. Go means the Gopas. That is the meaning of Gokul. Kul means a congregation or a group. Kul. Sometimes they even in Hindi say, "Bhai, aapka kul kya hai?" What is your, which group do you come from? Kul. So, or kud, we say kud. So, kul means a congregation of all this sweetness, of all this Vrajdham. So, that is Nija Sarva Shaktis of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He says, Chaitanya Prabhu is Krishna. And Krishna says, these are all mine. Like he says even in Damodarashtakam, I'm trying to connect this word here, Gokul, in the sense that Krishna says, I think it's the 3rd verse, the 4th verse, where he says, what is the 4th verse of Damodarashtakam? Where he says that, Idrik Swalilabhir Anandakund, Swalilabhir Anandakunde, Swagosha Nimanjantam Akhyapayantam. Swagosh, again the word Swagosh, and what Mahaprabhu has used in this Ishtastakam is Nija Sarva Shakti. Swagosh and Nija Sarva Shaktis are the same. Swaghosh means my own family. And his own family is what? All the Vrajvasis. So Satyavrat Muni is being instructed by Krishna. It's a subtle conversation in the Damodarashtakam that we sing in Kartik. As Swagosha Nimanjantam. I like this. With my all these wonderful sweet leelas, I drown my family, Ananda Kunde, in a bliss of in a blissful kunda or a blissful reservoir of water. Just like somebody, just simply is going deeper and deeper into a sweet nectar. Similarly, because of Krishna's sweet pastimes, he says, all these sweet pastimes of Satyavrat Muni, I drown my residents of my own family, the residents of Gokul. I drown them in this ecstasy of a bliss. And so like that, please learn, oh other devotees. He says in that same verse, please learn. Idriksa Leelavir Ananda Kunde Swagosha Nimanjantam Akhyapayantam Tadi Ishit Agyeshu. Those who have understood that I am the Supreme Lord, Agyeshu means one who has got that knowledge. Tadi Ishit Agyeshu Swagosha Nimanjantam Akhyapayantam Tadi Ishit Agneshu Bhaktar Jitatvam. Only one, all my family of Gokul has won me due to their pure devotion, not because I am the Supreme Lord. So please understand that. So those persons who are in Vaikuntha, or those who have knowledge about my Supreme Personality of godliness, or that I am the Supreme Lord, I am conveying to all of you, those Vaikuntha-vasis, or all those persons that try to be like these Gokul-vasis, then I will be fully controlled by you. Otherwise, I control you. Tadi Ishit Agneshur Bhaktir Jitatvam Puna Premastam Shattavruti Vandit. I offer my hundreds and hundreds of obeisances to those residents or the family of Krishna in Gokul or in Braj. That's what Satyavrat Muni is saying, that because they are your own personal friend, they do not care whether you are the Supreme Lord or not. They love you because you are so sweet, and they are engrossed in these wonderful pastimes. This is pure Gaudiya Vaishnava Tattva. So we have to understand this. So as we were saying that Hari is non-different from what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as far as we are concerned. He steals everything, including the minute independences. I was saying in Sharanagati, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying that the 6 limbs are there. Those who have this fully are Sharan, means to surrender. But Agati means what kind of surrender? It's a combination of 2 words. Sharan plus Agati. Agati means to move, and Agati means no movement. Steadfastness. Such like a rock. This word Sharanagati is exactly the essences of the eighth verse of the Sistastakam. Ashlishapadartam pinashtumam adarshanam marma harto karotua yatha tatha va vidhato lampato mat prananatha sapara. Whether you kick me, oh Krishna, or you embrace me, I'm not budging from here. Mat, mine, prananatha, birth after birth, you are my prananath. You are indeed my life and soul. Prananatha sagatayana eva paraha. There is no other way. So Krishna, it's like the bhav of Radharani in the 8th verse. This, when we do the Sistastakam, we will go into all those details, how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, how Krishna obtains that bhav, sitting in the Gambhira in Jagannath Puri, where his goal is to obtain Radha bhav, which he gets it. And that explains the last 2 verses of the Sistastakam, that now Krishna has obtained full-fledged Radha bhav. So Radharani and the gopis are saying, whether Krishna, you kick us, or in a simple way of the meaning of that verses is the gopis of Vrindavan or the Vraj, and Radharani actually proclaiming that whether you kick us or you embrace us, Krishna, we have no other place to go. We are going to be loving you only. It's up to you, Krishna, what you do with us. And that is Gaudiya Vaishnavism, the essence, that whatever Krishna does, same way, Sharana Agati. Agati means we are not moving, Krishna. Sometimes, when somebody kicks you and sometimes we also we do not have that tolerance or that patience that somebody again and again is abusing us or not behaving nicely, then we will stop communication with that person. We will not go to them, and that could be our own parents or our brother or sister, etc. We sever the relationship. We cut that relationship. But the gopis don't do that. Huh? Krishna gave them so much actually, you can say separation. Hardly he lived in Vrindavan, in Vraj Bhumi for 12 years, 12 to 13 years, somewhere in there, in there between. And then he left and he went from Mathura and then he went to Dwarka. Krishna was enacting his pastimes on this earthly planet for 125 years. So can you imagine? Almost, only a small, measly 12 years he gave to the Vrajvasis. And the next of it, he gave to Mathuravasis or Dwarkavasis, the rest of the association. So that is something that Krishna uh, only could give this to those qualified persons. Not everybody can even take that pain and tolerance. Everybody has to qualify for that. And the more patience and the more tolerance, the more sweeter it gets. Even in burning separation, which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself in the Gambhira felt, although there was so much burning separation, being in Viyogini Radha's Bhav in Jagannath Puri, which a lot of people don't understand why Mahaprabhu chose Puri. It is an amazing explanation that our acharyas give, and that is why even Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada and Bhakti Vinod Thakur ji, they were in Puri when Bhakti Siddhanta Prabhupada appeared as Bimla Prasad. He appeared in Puri, very about 1 kilometer away from the temple, right on the Bododanda, and Bhakti Vinod Thakur was posted there as the magistrate. So that was some kind of a very, very wonderful leela. Even Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada in his last days, he stayed at Chatak Parvat very close to Puri Dham, which is the representation of Govardhan. So, and then of course, just before a few days, he came back to Kolkata, and that's when he left his body. But he was absorbed in Mahaprabhu's mood when he was in Puri. Just before he left his body, most of the time he stayed in Puri, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So these are all when we study when we think deeply about our acharyas, some of our Gaudiya acharyas, why Puri is so important, and we have to understand that Viyog, the separation, service and separation is considered the highest. Nama Gaur Kishoraya Sakshat Vairagya Murte Vipralamba Rasambodhe Padam Bhojayate Nama Vipralamba Rasambodhe. He was an ocean of Madhurya Rasa, Gaur Kishore, but in what? Vipralamba Bhav. That bhav of the gopis in separation. Bhakti Vinod Thakur also says the same thing. I did not mention that in the Jagannath Rath Yatra Katha because there were many general people, but this is very rustic and very deep. I explained that. The Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Bhakti Rakshak Siddhar Maharaj heard this from Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and he says, I'm a very keen listener. And what did I hear? He was talking about his father, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, that Bhakti Vinod Thakur had mentioned that I would like to build a bhajan kutir in Kurukshetra. What? In Kurukshetra? And Bhakti Sridhar Maharaj, immediately his ears perked up. Did I hear wrong? Most sadhus and sannyasis and most people want to live in Vraj. And the highest place amongst Vraj that the Rupa Goswami's book, Updesh Amrit, explains that Radhakund is considered the highest amongst Vraj. In so many places of Vraj Mandal, Mathura is considered great. Higher than Mathura is Vrindavan. In Vrindavan also, there are so many different places. In Vraj Mandal, Govardhan is considered, and within Govardhan, the highest place is Radhakund. So like that, there is delineations of different bhavs or ecstatic prema. So those who are residing in Radhakund are considered to be very, very fortunate. But obviously, one should not imitate them and just simply go to Radhakund, because our offenses will also multiply thousands. So supposing one is staying in Vrindavan Dham and knowingly or unknowingly one commits offenses, those offenses are multiplied hundreds of times when it can have an adverse effect when one goes to Radhakund. So one should not take them very cheaply. It is not one should not become a sahajya. Today, that's why Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada had mentioned, that Radhakund is not for everyone. One should not simply go to Radhakund and imitate those great personalities. One should cultivate a very, very steady level of Krishna consciousness before one even thinks of staying as a nivas. One can visit, take darshan and leave. But staying at Radha Kund and imitating, and there's a lot of things these going on today. So that was completely deadly against. But so Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentioned about going to Kurukshetra and building a hut there, and that's where he wanted to serve. Why? So Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada explains, because that's when my Radha needs the most service and attention. When they meet in Kurukshetra during the solar eclipse, my Radharani is so close to Krishna, Dwarkadish, but there is no peacock feather, there is no flute. He is the great king. He is Dwarkadish. And Radharani is always thinking, like Mahaprabhu has given that example of from Sahitya Darpan, that this is the same, my lover and I are the same, but it is the banks of the Raivat river are not there, and the Vetasi, those bamboo trees are not there. It is the same moon nights, but it's a different place. So like that same way Rupa Goswami translates or kind of takes that verse that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he spoke from a very mundane literature, only two persons understood that, Swarup Damodarji and Rupa Goswami. And Rupa Goswami also composed a very wonderful verse that this is Radharani saying it is the same Krishna and I am the same Radha, standing in Kurukshetra at the banks of Ramridakund. But it is the Yamuna is not there, the Kadam trees are not there, and the fifth note of Krishna's flute is not there because there is no flute. Dwarkadish does not carry a flute. And then Radharani is inviting Krishna, let's go back, my dear Krishna, go back to our Vraj, and so that we can kind of, enjoy our sweet Madhurya Ras, our pastimes in Vrindavan. So, like that, the point is that Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, at that time there's so much deep separation Radharani is feeling that she's about to die, but she can't even give up her life, because if she gives up her life, Krishna will certainly not live. So the gopis say that Krishna, we would have died a long time ago in your separation. We are emancipated, and they were emancipated. They could not eat, they could not drink. Even Nanda Baba, Yashoda Mai, they had almost turned blind due to their crying after Krishna left. But they could not give up their lives thinking of Krishna. See, this is pure love. When you think of the other person, what will be the effect on the other person? It is very easy to think more about oneself. But the gopis always thought, the Vrajvasis always thought about Krishna. What will be our effect? So that is why we maintain our lives. So Radharani is almost on the verge of death at that point due to separation. And I want to hold her in my arms and give her solace. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, as Kamla Manjari, is thinking of this seva. A friend in need is a friend indeed. A friend in need. At that time, Radharani needs the highest seva. Otherwise, in Raj, there are many devotees who are always ready to serve, etc. But here in Kurukshetra, she will need the utmost highest help. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, see how high he thinks about it. That is why he is considered one of all these acharyas, Narottam Das Thakur, Vishwanath Chakravati Thakur Pad, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and even our Srila Prabhupada. They are Radha Dasyam Ananya Bhav. There is no question about that. And that Hare or Hari is one who has stole Radharani's heart is Hari. One who steals all the different papas or the karmas is Hari Sri Krishna. But that Hari can do it even as Vishnu or Narayana or Lord Ramachandra, taking away the sins. But to take away the minute independence, Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains in Sharanagati that I have at one point in these 6 different limbs, the humility, giving up everything, surrendering everything to Krishna. Krishna is my provider. That is one bhav. The fourth one is that Krishna is my full protector, having full faith, accepting things that are conducive to Krishna consciousness and rejecting things that are not conducive to Krishna. All these 6 Shadanga Sharanagati, Hoi Veja, Tar Pratna Sune, Vrajendra Kumar. When all these 6 limbs are there, then Vrajendra Kumar, the son of Nanda Maharaj, the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, from whom everything emanates, Janmadi Yasya, then he will certainly listen to our prayers. Sometimes even devotees wonder that, I prayed so much, but Krishna, you never listened. I prayed that most recently, I can say so many devotees prayed for my initiating spiritual master Srila Bhakti Charu Maharaj ji, and he left because of COVID about a month ago in Florida, and there were thousands and thousands of devotees all over the world who must have prayed and did Harinam and did they offered their prayers to Nrsingadev to so that they could save Maharaj. But Maharaj Krishna had a different plan. Now one can look at it from two different perspectives. Krishna's plan is always ultimate. So supposing if Maharaj would have been saved by the prayers, then one could have understood that that is the mercy of Krishna and Krishna has another plan. But what happens sometimes, we also, let's take another example. Sometimes we have so many inner desires and we pray to Krishna. Krishna, please, certain problems have come in my life. And we pray so hard, but Krishna does not apparently resolve those problems. So why? So then we have to question, am I Shadanga Sharanagat like Bhaktivinoda Thakur's description? We reserve, we have little bit Sharanagati. We have very little, actually not even Agati, Sharanagati. Sharan, we have some surrender, but we have not attained Sharanagati. That kind of surrender where it is motionless, like a steadfast rock. Whether Krishna, you kick me or you embrace me, I'm not moving from here. I'm not moving, like very, very, steadfast. Whatever your reaction towards me is, my reaction is that I will always love you. That is Sharanagati. Motionless, like a huge rock. Where you try to push it, it's not going to move. It's not going to budge. It's like Mount Sumeru. Mount Sumeru is considered the tallest mountain, which we do not understand. It is like the Mount Everest is considered the fraction of Mount Sumeru. If you understood the Vedic geography, it is considered one of the biggest mountains in Jambudvip. We are in Bharatvarsh, but Bharatvarsh is in a huge island called Jambudvip, and Jambudvip is one of the smallest out of the 7 different. That's a different story and a different time to discuss. But Mount Sumeru is very huge, so it's impossible for it to budge, to push Mount Sumeru away. Similarly, those devotees whose devotion is so steadfast and they are so fully surrendered, they cannot budge from their surrender. Right now we have some surrender. We are not Sharanagati. Sharan plus Agati. We do not have that. Not at all. Let us put it that way. We are trying to, and we should be. But these acharyas, they are Sharanagati. They are like Srila Prabhupada. But Bhakti Siddhanta Prabhupada, I have to give you some practical examples. He has mentioned in his Updeshavali 24 instructions. And one of those instructions is Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, who is none other than Nayana Manjari, who is very dear to Rupa Manjari, who is a very dear servant of Radharani, Sri Varsha Bhanvi Daitaya Kripabdahi. Even in his Pranam mantra, it is mentioned, Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutle Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Iti Namine Sri Varsha Bhanvi Devi Daitaya Kripabdahi. He is the ocean of mercy, and he is a dear servant of Varsha Bhanvi Devi. Varsha Bhanvi Devi is the daughter of King Vrishabhanu Radharani. See, how many people of us, besides Prabhupada's Pranam Mantra, we should try to learn and we should try to memorize the Pranam Mantras of at least 5 of our most immediate acharyas and meditate on them. Understand the meaning. When we are chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, so many things are revealed to us about these transcendental qualities of these great personalities. Right there it is mentioned, like Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale, Varsha Bhanvi Devi Daitaya Das, that was his initiated name. How many of you all know that? Bimla Prasad was the name given by Father Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in Jagannath Puri, because Bhaktivinoda Thakur ji prayed to Lord Jagannath while he was posted in Jagannath Puri to Bimla Devi in the temple of Lord Jagannath, the consort or the Antaranga Shakti of Jagannath Dev, that please send me a son who can help me in distributing Krishna consciousness, the pure Gaudiya Vaishnavism. I need that. Bhaktivinoda Thakur had already written over 100 big and small books, and he wanted somebody. He had actually made a full-fledged blueprint And that blueprint was passed on to Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and Srila Prabhupada actually implemented that blueprint. That credit goes not only to Srila Prabhupada, but it goes to Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada and to Bhaktivinoda Thakur especially. He had outlined so nicely blueprint. Like an architect, he is able to make a blueprint, and then the main person or the contractor, he can fulfill the implementation of that architect's drawing in the form of building a nice building that everybody can see and that everybody can understand. But an ordinary person cannot understand if they see the blueprints of construction. It's very, very complicated. Only those who have gone into civil engineering, etc., will be able to understand the blueprint drawings. And Dr. Harihar Behra Prabhu will confirm that. He is also an engineer, an IIT engineer, and he knows that those blueprints are not so easy to, unless and until one has studied. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, my Guru Maharaj, said that he actually gave the blueprint of ISKCON. This blueprint of ISKCON was given by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Anyways, so when he got initiated, Bhakti Siddhanta Bimla Prasad. So when he appeared in Puri, Bhaktivinoda Thakur was so pleased. So he called him Bimla Prasad because he was the Prasad, the mercy of Bimla Devi, the consort of Jagannath Ji. So Bimla Prasad, when he got initiated by Srila Gaurkishore Babaji Maharaj, Gaurkishore Babaji Maharaj gave him the name Barsha Bhanvi Devi Daitaya Das. Barsha Bhanvi means Vrishabhanu. Devi means Vrishabhanu Devi Daitaya. Vrishabhanu Barsha. So this is grammar. It's not Vrishabhanu, it's Barsha Bhanu. Like Janak Raja's Putri or Janak Raja's daughter is known as Janaki, or we call Sita Mata. So Vrishabhanu is King Vrishabhanu of Barsana, but his daughter is known as Barshana. Like Vasudev is the father of Krishna in Dwarka, and he's known as Vasudev. That Krishna, whose father is Vasudev, is known as Vasudev. So Barsha Bhanvi Devi. Barsha Bhanvi Devi means Srimati Radharani. Daitaya Das. The dear. Daitya means very dear. Das means the servant of Radharani. So all these secrets are there. They're actually open secrets. It's a matter of simply meditating, learning, and reading. And when we read that, all these reflections, when we're chanting the Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. All these different thoughts, we can take either we can take the Mahamantra, reflect on it. We can take the Pranam Mantra of any of our Gaudiya Acharyas. And believe it or not, Krishna as Chaitya Guru will reveal so many things. And then it will be confirmed also when we read Shastra. It will not be whimsical. So like that, again, I've been like, there's so many different topics just simply being churned here one after. So that Hari that I was explaining, the Sakshat Haritvena, those two words, again, there is some more realizations or reflections that are emanating. So I'm still stuck on those first two words. What can I say, my dear devotees? So that Haritva, so Lord Vishnu, Lord Narayana, they can take away the different papas or the karmic reactions from millions and millions or anadikal, from all the different births. But it is that Supreme Personality of the Lord Sri Krishna, the Nandan, Vrishabhanu, Dulali's most dear Krishna, he can actually steal even that minute independence of that Vaishnava. And that is so important. Now, please understand this little principle. Bhaktivinoda Thakur has mentioned, Ami to nahi amar, ki kaje para dhana. In one of his bhajan, he says, I am not even mine. And then none of those. See, when we learn Vaishnava bhajans, there are so many secrets of Sharanagati in it. Especially Bhaktivinoda Thakur is explicitly in one bhajan, which is in the bhava of Atma Nivedan. So there are 6 sections, and he has written in each section, he has written different bhajans. So in one of the bhajans, and most of you all may have heard this bhajan, Manasa Deha Geha Joki Chumor Arpil Tuapade Nanda Krishwar. In that bhajan, it is in the section of Atma Nivedan and Sharanagati. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is mentioning that Daye mama gela tua pada o varane. He says that jivane marane manasa deha geha jo kichu mor arpilu tua pade nanda kishore. Jivane marane and then I forget another two lines. Jivane marane daye mama gela tua o pada varane. Jivane marane sampade bipade. Daye mama gela tua o pada varane. So in these lines of that bhajan of Atmanivedan, so beautifully Bhaktivinoda Thakur has explained the actual meaning of the word Sharanagati. Full surrender, surrender without any movement, steadfast like Mount Sumeru. He is saying Jivane Marane, in the death or in life, Sampade Vipade, in happiness or in distress, Daya Mama Gela, my daitva, my responsibility, or my free will. Please try to understand. Daya Mama Gela Tua Pada Overane. I have already surrendered even my minute independence at your lotus feet. What can I say? Think about these words again. See, we all have, I'm going back to the fundamentals. When Krishna says, Mamayamsha Jiva Loka Jiva Bhuta Sanatan in the Bhagavad Gita. Very, very nice, simple, basic verse where Krishna has declared that all the jivas are my ansha. They are my little minute particles. Just like the sun is vibhu, very, very gigantic. And the sun rays are anu. Just like the sea, the vast ocean is vibhu. It is gigantic. But a small drop of water of the ocean has got the same chemical composition as the vast ocean. It is also salty. So it is anu, very atomic. So similarly, how atomic is the jiva? It is explained. Krishna himself said that it is, if you take the hair and the tip of the hair, if you can divide it into 10,000 parts, the tip of the hair, that is the size of the jiva. So it's so minuscule, so anu, so atomic, but it's still mamai ansha. Now, because Krishna's ansha, and we have explained this in different examples. This is a pure cotton napkin that I'm holding in front of you. And if I take a little ansha or a little particle of this cotton napkin, can you see that? I'm sure you can see it. What is the quality? It is also 100% cotton. It cannot be silk, it cannot be wool, it cannot be a mixture of anything else if this is 100%, if this is 100% cotton. Similarly, because we are because Krishna's ansha, we possess all the qualities of Krishna, but in a very minuscule form. Like even the Bible, that is why Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Bhakti Siddhanta Swami Prabhupada, they used to endorse the Bible as simple Vaishnavism, because in the Old Testament, before even Christ came, in the Old Testament it is said that man was made in the image of God, which is basically a simple translation of this verse of Bhagavad Gita, Mamayamsha Jiva Loka Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. Eternally, these jivas are my anshas. So Krishna is eternal, so are his anshas, they are eternal. His anshas cannot be destroyed. And Bhagavad Gita basic second chapter talks about all that na jayate mriyate va kadachin nayam bhutva bhavitava na bhuyo ajo nitya shashvato ayam purano na hanyate hanyamana sharire. It is the most oldest. It cannot be born, the jiva, and it cannot be destroyed when the body is destroyed. So that quality of eternality is there in that ansha, in that atomic ansha too. Krishna is fully independent. He is Swarat. That is the word that Srimad Bhagavatam uses in the very first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the essence of all the Vedic literatures. He is Swarat. This is a particular word Vyasdev uses. So if Krishna is Swarat, that quality of Swarat or independence is there in Krishna, so as similarly the quality of independence is there in its minute particle. Try to picture this. Krishna is represented by this whole napkin, is pure cotton, or let's say this is fully independent. This ansha comes from Krishna, and Krishna is fully independent, so there is independence in every jiva, but it is minuscule, it is minute. Similarly, because of that minute independence, we decide whether we want to take to spirituality or we want to turn to Krishna, or we want to turn away from Krishna. Whether we want to become Sanmukh or we want to become Vimukh. And because we decided to become Vimukh, we come to the material world. Because under the influence of Maya, and Maya keeps us Vimukh. It keeps us away from Krishna because of the Dehatma Buddhi, because of the covering. Just like somebody who is extremely drunk or extremely high on drugs, they cannot see the rational like normal people. Doesn't talk like a normal person, doesn't act like a normal person. So everybody in this samsara, in this repeated cycle of birth of death, in this 25% of this material world creation is subject to the onslaught of Maya, whether it is Lord Brahma or it is the different Devi Devatas or a human being. We are all under the influence of Maya. And as the Maya, as long as Maya's influence remains, we will not be able to transcend into the spiritual world or into this. In spite of being here, we will be absorbed in materiality. But some of these acharyas who have transcended Maya, although they are here, they are fully transcendental. They may be in the material world, but they are not of the material world. And Prabhupada used to give this example, like the American embassy in New Delhi is in India, but it is not of India. Because once you enter those gates of the American embassy, Indian laws do not apply. The Indian government cannot do a search of the American embassy. The diplomats, once you have gone inside, they are not subject to search, or they are not subject to Indian laws. Therefore, you know that even in diplomatic terms, even when they enter into another country besides their own country, they cannot be searched. Their baggage cannot be searched. They have got diplomatic immunity. These are some of the protocols. So I'm just giving some simple examples so that we can understand what Prabhupada said, that American embassy in New Delhi is in India, but not of India. So these acharyas, although they are here in the material world and moving around, but they are off Golok. They are not under the influence of Maya, but we are. So again, coming back to the word Sharanagati and explaining the word Sakshat Haritena, connecting these two together, Sharanagati, that minute independence we all have, that makes us make decision. And that is why especially the Jiva is called Tathastha Shakti. There are three, basically, you can say, classes of Krishna's energies: Bahiranga Shakti, Antaranga Shakti, and Tathastha Shakti. Bahiranga Shakti is Maya, external energy. Antaranga Shakti is all those Nitya Siddha Jivas that live in the spiritual world, Vaikuntha, all the Vaikuntha planets, Golok, Vrindavan, etc. And all the different expansions of Krishna, they are Antaranga Shakti, internal potencies. And Tathastha Shakti is us. Tat means the bank or the seashore. Sometimes you see, depending on the time of the day and the season, when you're going to the seashore, you see that, oh, yesterday when I was walking in the evening, oh, I could see there's so much beach or so much land, and now it's all covered with sea. So that land that is covered with sea is now become sea. And when that water recedes, low tide, then all that becomes part of land. So that is called Tathastha. So we are Tathastha. We can either go to Vaikuntha by exercising, or go to the spiritual platform by exercising our minute independence correctly. Or we can stay in samsara, on the other side of the graph. By exercising our minute independence incorrectly, we can stay in this material world since time immemorial. And that's what's happening. Since time immemorial, we have been residing in this material world. Because Krishna says that one who has come to me, then will never take birth in this material world. A few places in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has mentioned that. Tattva punarjanmaneti mameti. So Arjuna, Hare Krishna. So the highest form of surrender, according to our Bhaktivinoda Thakur explained in the Sharanagati is even that minute independence that we have, no, that also we surrender to Krishna. Very difficult. Again, I will repeat. This is the pinnacle. We can give up. Many sadhus, many saintly personalities can give up kamini, the attachment to the opposite sex. They can give up kanchan, wealth. They're not attracted by wealth. They are so vairagi babas. They are so full of renunciation. Some of them are on the Paramahansa level, who have even given up pratishtha. Whether they have been respected, not respected, aman in aman dena. They're always giving respect to others, but never expecting any kind of respect for themselves. That stage is also extremely difficult. Even once we come to the spiritual life, whether one is of a nature or the highest order in the varnashram system, the highest ashram is sannyas. But we have seen, not very difficult. Even for that sannyas ashram, they still need those perfectly ironed kurtas. They need that spelt flower, and they have a huge list that goes to the chief shishya or the chief disciple, that if you have to call him to have some prasadam at your place, Maharaj only takes organic flour. Maharaj only takes this. Maharaj only takes that. What is that? It is as good as somebody, unfortunately I have to say this, and I'm not afraid of saying that. That is the observation. It is like going to a 5-star hotel and demanding the best kind of foods for your sense gratification. How many people are reading Srimad Bhagavatam 2nd canto where Sukadeva Goswami is saying, are there not torn clothes lying on the streets, that one who is a vairagi, one who is a saintly person can take that? Are there not rivers who have stopped giving waters, that they can simply drink those waters and take a bath? Are there not trees where they can simply rest under those trees? So why do they need big accommodations, big, this is in the garb of a sannyasi. They need massages. What is this? And in the name of seva? So are we saying Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur and Bhakti Vinod Thakur and Rupa Goswami, because they were so vairagis, because they did not accept such kind of seva, they were less compassionate? To this statement, many people will say that, oh, they are giving us a chance to do seva of Guru Maharaj. The cheaters and the cheated, simply. It's a different story of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada was an old man, and he used to sleep only an hour and a half. 22.5 hours he was always awake. So if some massage was given to Prabhupada, it only helped the devotees because he was able to write more books and translate more books. And because Prabhupada accepted those things, he is a Mahabhagavad. Sakshat Haritvena. He had all those great qualities that even when devotees gave him a Rolex watch, he accepted it. Because he accepted it because he was a representative of God, a representative of his Guru Maharaj. First class. Because he could do such wonders. You and I, if we accept that man or that kind of respect, when we are accustomed to eating big pasta bowls, make this, make pizza. Guru Maharaj likes pizza, make that. Don't make that Indian curry. Prabhupada clearly said, New Vrindavan, even go there today, by his Sri Murti, there is some of the letters that Prabhupada, in his own writing, they have been copied and kept there. No pizza, no ice cream, no outside foodstuffs, no frivolous sports. And we see some sannyasis playing cricket and volleyball and basketball. One time when I was in Vrindavan, I went to the Gurukul and I saw some Gurukul kids playing badminton. So I just simply stopped and I saw them. And then I said, two kids were conversing. Just see the smartness, how Maya works. One kid came. Actually, I had gone to take darshan of His Holiness Radha Govind Maharaj. He used to stay in the Gurukul at that time, before he moved to Keshav Kunj. So then he used to stay on the third floor. So I took the steps, and then I think it was somewhere halfway on the second floor, these kids were playing badminton in the, what you call, in the foyer or in the aisle. So one of the kids says that this is Maya. So one kid gave a very smart aleck answer. We're playing for the pleasure of Krishna. This is our leadership. I'm talking about literally 8-year-old and 10-year-old kids having this conversation. Chocolate ice cream is now accepted in ISKCON worldwide. Prabhupada said no chocolate. In Prabhupada days, the replacement of chocolate was carob. It did not have that caffeine in it. So we are all hypocrites, honestly speaking. And then we want Krishna Prem. Some people, because this is recorded, it is going to go around the world. They're not going to like it, but it is the truth. Can you do something like Prabhupada? Can you do something like Lord Shiva? Can you take up all that poison from the Amrit Manthan and keep it in your neck? Then you can wear a Rolex or you can smoke ganja, because everything that you do will be Krishna. Can you walk like Srila Prabhupada 2 kilometers from Mathura station into the Mathura city? When they arrived, the disciples told Prabhupada, Prabhupada, those horse carriages were right there outside Mathura station. Why do we have to walk 2 kilometers? Why did you walk 2 kilometers into the city? Prabhupada said, at the station, they're all badmash. These tangawalas, these horse carriage people, they charge double to go to Vrindavan. This is Krishna's money. For half the price, when I walk inside the city, they will take me to Vrindavan. This is Krishna's money. For saving 1 rupee, then you wear Rolex, then you go travel in a Rolls Royce, and then you can be the proper ambassador of Krishna. That is Sakshat Haritvena. Why Prabhupada never made any Acharya after he left? Because he knew none of them were qualified. Why Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada never made any Acharya? Agun Jolibe. That is what he told Prabhupada at Radhakund. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada told A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, after I am gone, they will be fighting over the tiles and which room they will take. In the temple, in the Bhag Bazar Mott in Kolkata, Bhakti Siddhanta Prabhupada said, after I am gone, Agun Jolibe, there will be a fire in the mud. And he said that after I'm gone, all these, they will be fighting these devotees. Oh, I will take this room. I will take this room. I will take this room. We want to be Manjaris. We want this Krishna Prem. What are we really doing? Our chanting is also not up to par. How can it be up to par when we are so attached to the bodily comforts? I speak the truth. I'm sitting on the Vyasasana right now. And that is why, and again, I'm also hypocritical. I'm not saying that I'm not subject to that hypocrisy. But this is a moment of truth and reflection. Then we can also become Sakshat Haritvena. Then we can become Krishna Preshthaya Bhutade. We can become Krishna Preshta. We can become Varsha Bhanvi Daitaya Das. That Sharanagati of Prabhupada, of all the Prabhupadas, Updeshavali of Bhakti Siddhanta, that Krishna will not even look at your offering if you do not chant 1 lakh names. That means 64 rounds of the Mahamantra. Krishna will not even look. Look it up. Google it. Bhakti Siddhanta Prabhupada's Updeshavali. But A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada in New York, when he initiated the first batch of devotees, He says, tomorrow is Janmashtami. I'm going to initiate you into Harinam. You must chant after initiation. Take a vow that you will chant 64 rounds every day. Hayagriva Prabhu or Howard Wheeler and those devotees that Prabhupada was going to initiate, they said, no way, Swamiji, that's not possible. And they started counting. It took them for one mala or one round of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra 108 times. It took them about 10 to 12 minutes. And then he calculated, oh, this will take us about 8-9 hours to chant 64 hours, 64 rounds. Impossible, Swamiji. Sorry, about 12.5 hours. He says, my Guru Maharaj used to chant 64 rounds. That is the principle. No way. So Bhakti Siddhant, Bhakti Vedanta Swami was okay, 32 rounds. Oh, impossible, Swamiji. That's going to take at least a good 6 hours a day. The Prabhupada said, bas, no more. Minimum 16 good rounds. You follow the 4 regulative principles, no meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit sex, and no gambling. And you chant minimum 16 good rounds and you will go back home, back to Godhead. So why I'm mentioning this? Because he's Shadanga Sharanagat. Shadanga Sharanagati hoibe jar tar prarthana sune Vrajendra Kumar. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada said 64 rounds. But Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada changed the rules of the game based on time, place, and circumstances. And if he is declared that if you chant minimum 16 good rounds, and you follow 4 regulative principles, at the end of this life, you will go back home, back to Godhead. Krishna must listen to Prabhupada because he is Shadanga Sharanagat. When we pray, sometimes he listens, it's a stroke of his mercy. But if he does not listen, then he does not have to. He's Swarat. Why should he listen? Are we Shadanga Sharanagat? Oh, Prabhuji, can you come to the temple today? No, Prabhu, today we have, birthday party, or we have to go to a wedding party. Our priorities are beyond Krishna. Then why should Krishna give us priority? How many people we are inviting for satsang? How many people are showing up? They have priorities. Then Krishna says, ye tha mam prapadyante, tam sa tathaiva bhajami ham. As per your level of surrender, I will reciprocate. You put him on the back burner, then why should he bring you on the front? Do we have that dainyata? Trinadapi sunichena taro iva seshnana mamanena manadena kirtanya sadari? Like a checklist. No. Do we have that Atmanivedana? Like what Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Prabhupada, Manasa Deha Geha, Chokichu more, Arpilitua Pade Nanda Kishore. Manasa, my heart, Deha, my body, Geha, all my assets. Jokichu more, everything that I have, including my minute independence, Arpilitua Pade Nanda Kishore. I offer it to you. This is Gopi Bhav. Oh Nanda Kishore, we have even given you our minds. Uddhav, manna bhaye 10-20. Ek tha so mana that we have already given to Shyam Sundar. Uddhav, we don't have 10-20 minds or 10-20 places to go. We have already surrendered to Krishna. In the Bhavargi, in the Venu Geet, Krishna calls the gopis in the middle of the night by playing his flute, by playing his Venu. The gopis leave their houses, their husbands, their children. The society comes to the one. Sriman Rasar Sarambi Vamshi Vatastitaha Karshana Venu Shwaner Gopi Shri Gopi Nathaya Sriyastana. Gopinath plays his flute and he calls all the gopis. They come and then he laughs at them. Go back. Arey Baba, aren't you ashamed? I am a bachelor. I am a brahmachari. What will the world say? Go back. If your husband wakes up in the middle of the night, he doesn't find you there, what's going to happen? If Jatila, Kutila, they wake up, Radha, what will happen? Your sister-in-law, she will kill you in the morning. The moment she finds out that you left the house in the middle of the night, and she finds out that you are with that Krishna, that unmarried boy, what will the society say? Wonderful. Venu Geet. See, that is why Srimad Bhagavatam should be studied right from the beginning. People will not understand. What can I say? They simply, the essence is, Krishna, we have already given everything to you. All the husbands and etc., they are all your, we know that you are the real husband. So we have surrendered to you. So it's up to you now. We are not going back. You don't want to accept us, that's okay. Aslisha padartam pinashtumam adarshanam marma harto kartuva. Yatha tatha va vidato lambato mat prananath sayamara. This is Mahaprabhu's mood. This is the same mood of the Venu Geet in that conversation between Krishna and the married gopis, the Parkiyaras. We are not going anywhere, Krishna. It's up to you now. It's okay. We have already given everything. That is Sharanagati. Manasa Dehagya, Jo Kichu more, including my honor. We have given up our honor, O Krishna. Jo Kichu more, that's what it means. It is Gopi Bhav. People sing this song, but they do not some of them do not understand the deeper meaning of what Bhaktivinoda Thakur has used here. Jo Kichu more. Arpilu tuapade Nanda Kishore. That even that minute independence that I have, I've given it to you, Krishna. Now you make the decision. Dai mama gela tua pado varane. My daitva, my responsibility. Ami to nahi amar. I'm not even mine now. I've already given myself to you. That is Krishna Prem. Those are the qualifications of Krishna Prem. Those are the qualifications of Raganuga Bhakti. But if we don't hear this, we can never reach those goals. We have to know of a certain place or a certain activity in order to reach there. It's nice to hear the Sunday Bhagavad Gita class, but last 35 years we are hearing the same message. When will we understand the bhava of Bhaktivinoda Thakur? When will we understand the bhava of A.C. Bhaktivinoda Swami Srila Prabhupada, the innermost core? When will we understand the bhava of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur? So Sharanga Sharanagati is Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. If he says 16 good rounds, Nandan must listen. Okay, his Guru Maharaj said 64 rounds, and I will not even look at the bhoga. But if somebody is offering me with love, and Bhaktivinoda Swami said, Prabhupada said, 16 good rounds you are chanting, I will lovingly accept it. The games of the rules have changed. Prabala prem ke pale padkar Prabhu ko niyam badalte dekha, apna maan tale tal jaye, par bhakt ka maan na talte dekha. Somebody wrote this. There's so much truth in it. Out of pure love for the devotee, even if Krishna, Prabala prem ke pale padkar Prabhu ko niyam badalte dekha, he is even willing to change the rules at the expense of his own dignity or man. Apna maan tale tal jaye, bhakt ka maan na talte dekha. Bhaktivinoda Swami Srila Prabhupada said that chant minimum 16 good rounds, follow the 4 regulative principles strictly, you will go back home, back to Godhead in this lifetime. Done deal. Nobody can question it because he's Sharanga Sharanagata Bhakti. All the 6 limbs of Sharanagati are there in Prabhupada. They're there in all these Vande Guru, in all these Gurus. Krishna is dependent on them. He is Bhakta Vasya, controlled by them. Lest we forget they are Manjaris. Krishna falls at their lotus feet. Ari jare rupa kehde Radha ko, teri pran sakhi ko, main aayo hai, I have come. I know she is upset at me, but please go and give that message. Sam Sundar, we are not going there. She has strictly said she doesn't want to see you. Ari sun re Rupa Manjari, keh do. Just go. Please, I beg you. That is the position. By simply eating pizza, pasta, offering to Krishna, and then saying that we are in pure devotion, Anukulyana Krishna Anushilanam. We have never seen any of our acharyas offering pizza, pasta, or any of those Angrej items It is for our sense gratification because we have to do it. We have to offer and eat prasad. So Krishna may accept it, but does he like it? Then we have to go back. Bhaja bhakata vatsala Shri Gaura Hari. Shri Gaura Hari Sohi Goshta Vihari. Nanda Yashomati Chitta Hari. Whole Bhoga Arti. What are the different items that Krishna likes? What is being offered? Sri Vallabhacharya, Gosaiji, even in the Vatsalya Rasa, Mohandar, Bundi Ladu, so many different items according to season are being offered. We expressed that in that verse when we went into the detail in the Sringar Ras. Sri Vigraha Aradhana Nityanana Sringara Tan Mandira Varjanado. That Sringar Ras is full of, according to time, place, season, for the sukh of Thakurji, for the sukh of Radharani, for the pleasure. How long will we stay Kanishta? Ask ourselves, do we want to come to the Madhyam platform? Do we want to become real servants of the Sakshat Haritvena devotees? Kinto Prabhoya Priya Tasya Vande Guru Sri Charnaravindam. They are so priya to Prabhu, to the Lord. Prabhu Ho is kind of plural, which can also indicate Radha Krishna both. They are so priya. That indicates that they are Manjaris. They are gopis. Kinto Prabhoho Priya Eva Tasya. You are certainly Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya. Krishna Prestha. Bhakti Vedanta Swami iti namine. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimade Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati iti namine. And then we simply change that and we attach that for our gurus. Krishna Preshtha. We're putting them on the same platform. I'm in disagreement with that. Yes, they are devotees. Yes, they are senior to us. But to consider them on the platform of Shri, then why don't we call our gurus Prabhupada if we think they are so great and they are so pure? Rupa Goswami is called Rupa Goswami Prabhupada. Jiva Goswami is called Jiva Goswami Prabhupada. Sanatana Goswami is Sanatana Goswami Prabhupada. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur is Prabhupada. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Then why not call my Guru Maharaj Prabhupada? Everybody deep down in their hearts, they know. But then they are making a big show. So much kutniti, so much duplicity. We are not saying we should disrespect anyone. Forget the person who has initiated us. He is reverential. Indeed. It is like our parents who are, my mother is Adi Guru. They taught us ABCD, 1, 2, 3. One can become the most educated, double doctorate with many degrees under the belt. Are we going to disrespect our Adi Guru who has taught us the 1, 2, 3 and the ABCs? No. Here we are not talking about disrespecting. A Vaishnava will never disrespect anyone. He'll always be grateful to everyone. But to consider them on the platform of Sakshat Haritvena, then there is a defect. Bhaktivinoda Thakur has said, give Vaishnavas respect, but according to their position. Lest we commit aparadh or offenses. Somebody may say, I'm talking like Ritviks. No, I'm not a Ritvik. I clearly say that. We do need a guru. We all need to be connected to Mahaprabhu through some initiation process in the parampara. But to consider the one who connects us to be on the level of Rupa Goswami or A.C. Bhakti Swami Srila Prabhupada with our tiny brains, that's where the defect is. Haritva. Do we have that capacity? Or does our Guru Maharaj have that capacity to take away all those sinful activities that we have been going through since time immemorial? No. No, they do not. Unfortunately. Can they be like Radharani and Krishna, who can steal our hearts and our minds and our minded independence? No, they cannot. But they can take us to the right. Just because I'm speaking all these shastric injunctions and all these education, can I deliver you? No, I cannot. I'm being very honest. I cannot even deliver myself. But if somebody hears all this and says, oh, Sachidanand Das is a big guru, this, that. No, that is nonsense. And if I accept it, that is also nonsense. We have to know the qualities. How many of us have really, every day we are singing like parrots, Samsara Davanal in the temple. How many have understood even the basics? Sometimes we sing the Vaishnava bhajans in the temple. They say, Prabhu, Prabhu, nobody will understand. Sing just Mahamantra. Are Baba, if you don't give an opportunity to understand, how will the people even make an attempt to understand? I have practically experienced that many times. Singing the pure songs of the Vaishnava Acharyas. Prabhu, nobody understands Bengali. Then what is your realization, Kanishta? Even the pure words, whether you understand or don't understand, written by the Acharyas, simply it enters the ears, is itself very purifying. Just like medicine. One may be a topmost pharmacist, knowing all the chemical compositions and the organic chemistry of Tylenol or paracetamol. When he has fever or she has fever, when he takes it, paracetamol will make that fever disappear. And once somebody who is completely uneducated, he goes to the pharmacist, "Arey bhai, bukhar ka dawa de do," and the pharmacist or the clerk says, "Acha ye paracetamol le lo." And when that uneducated person also takes paracetamol, he's going to benefit. So these pure words of the Acharyas and the Mahamantra will definitely benefit. But if we understand that, then we will even benefit even further, because our respect and our love will grow for them. And love for the Acharyas to the Sakshat Haritvena, when that grows, we become Kinto Prabhoya Priyavatasya. Even then, even we are not qualified, we become dear to Radha Krishna because of our love for them. Sakshat Haritvena Samasta Shastra. Uktas tatha bhav yataiva sadbi. Kinto Prabhoya Priyavatesya. These gurus are not ordinary. Kinto Prabhoya Priya. They are very dear to Krishna. How? Because they are manjaris. Krishna is begging sometimes. Go tell your Radha this. Please, 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 please. I'm very sorry. I catch my ears. I will never be late again. Tell your Radha. So when the gopis will not go sometimes. Lalita Vishaka will say, no. They'll have a danda ready. Out. Radha said no. No means no. But then the manjaris, they're always looking for the union of Radha Krishna. One of them will go and say, Radha, Shyam Sundar is here. Please, can we let him in? He's very sorry. He's got lots of beads of sweat on his forehead. And we can see he's crying. Please, 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 hear him out. No, Radharani says, no. Hare Baba, sun re Sakhi. They convince Radharani. That is why the manjaris are very priya to Krishna. Kinto Prabhoya priya vatasya. These are the deeper meanings of each and every word of Vishwanath Chakravarti Pad's composition. Vande Guroho Sri Charanarvindam. To such pure devotees, I offer my obeisances. Perhaps if I've said something too much, it is only for our benefit that I've mentioned. No disrespect meant for anybody. Anybody who takes the name of the Lord is respectful and always to be respected. What to talk about those devotees who have dedicated many years of their lives and they are initiating gurus, very much respected. But a lot of sentimental devotees, fanatics, like certain fanatics, they say that their guru is God, or the followers, Swami Narayan Pant, Sajanand Swami, who was that guru, the founder of that pantha, of that path, he never said that he is God, but his sentimental devotees made him God and called him Swami Narayan. He is the Supreme Lord. You go to any of the Swami Narayan temples, he is worshipped and introduced as God, that he is God. The Christians introduce Christ as God, that he is God. That's where the problem is. If somebody catches the essence of what I'm saying, then they will understand. Otherwise, it is their own misfortune. Maya has cheated them. Krishna may be very kind, that those who are taking the holy name and doing even a little bit, swalpamasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat, and then we can get that 80 KT. You all know what 80 KT is? I think all of you know that. The present generation will not know that. Back in the old days in the school or colleges, even if the student did not perform so well, they failed. 35 was the passing. And if they got 32, 30 marks, they were given allowed to keep terms, 80 KT. So they were somehow or the other pushed. Okay, Baba, chalo, we'll let you go so that you don't spoil your year. You will be promoted to the next class, although you failed in that subject. Technically, you should not be. So, should we become 80 KT students or should we excel? Okay, Krishna is kind, he will accept us. He will take us home back to Godhead. Somehow or the other, because he saw that we were chanting and we did some seva. But do we want to be those 80 KT students or do we want to be those toppers? The Krishna and Prabhupada, all the Prabhupadas and all the gurus be proud of us. And we can be given that larger responsibility, even if it means to stay back in this material world, which I again and again and again and again repeat to all of the listeners and myself, going back home, back to God, it is not the ultimate goal. None of our acharyas asked for that. That is 80 KT. That is what Prabhupada said, you do this and you will go back to Godhead. Higher seva is vipralamba bhav, service in separation. Whichever world you keep us in Krishna, Swargeshu, Narkeshu, Apavargeshu, whether in Swarga, in the heavenly planets, Narka, in these hellish planets, Apavarga, in the higher planetary systems, including Vaikuntha, Samatulya Darshina for the Vaishnava. Always I will be in your service, Krishna. Like Prahlad Maharaj's bhav. Oh, Nrsimhadeva Bhagavan said, I'm very pleased with you. Let me take you back to Vaikuntha. Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj says, no, I would like to stay here and serve my Guru Maharaj, Naradji. Because so many people, jivas in this world, have no idea about Krishna consciousness. And I would like to give them Krishna consciousness. That is why they are Krishna Prishta. Leaving the company of Golok, leaving that wonderful sweet dham, coming here in the material world, staying in the Bavari, the worst part of New York, where the hippies were drunk, high on LSD and other drugs, middle of the night, injecting drugs in their arms, and Prabhupada shared the same apartment where the man kept on screaming like a crazy man when he was high. When Prabhupada used to go up to the apartment, there were 3-4 drunks sitting on the steps, and Prabhupada used to jump over them and go up. Very scary situation. Leaving Golok, coming here, that is beyond back to Godhead. That is why they are Sakshat Haritvena. Those tasks will not be given to 80-80 persons. The 80-80 persons will be in Vaikuntha or in Golok. Krishna, even if he says, hey Baba, you want to go there and save a few souls. Krishna, I like it here. Let me put some chamar for you, let me do this and let me do that. Krishna already knows the answer. Krishna is only going to send those toppers who have that Sakshat Haritvena quality in them to deliver. Not an easy piece of cake. That is what A.C. Bhakti Swami Srila Prabhupada is. That is what this Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam is. That is beyond the bhajans of Surdas. Darshan do, what is that? Darshan do dhane sham. Bhakti Siddhanta Prabhupada said, don't even try to take darshan of Krishna. Perform your service in such a way that Krishna, whenever he wants, he can see you. Very, very highest quality of bhakti, and all that is from Radharani. Ashlishya padartam pinastubam. Hey Baba, while you were here, we were left in Vrindavan. No problem. You want us to go for Prabhupada's to the material world? We'll go. But you will always remain with us in our hearts in Vipralamba Bhava. That is Sakshat Haritvena. That's why Kinto Prabhoya Priyavatasya. One may be qualified to enter a certain place or a certain grade or a certain class, but one not may be the topper in it. Number lag gaya, dhakka lag gaya. Somehow or the other we made it. But that is not the goal. Anukulina Krishna Anushulinam Tad Bhakti Ruptam. And Anukulina Krishna is what? All those rasic meanings are there in the Bhagavad Gita. The one who preaches this message never was, is, and will be as dear to me. Krishna Preshta. Kinto Prabhoya Priya Evatasya Priya. That's the difference between etiquette and toppers. Anybody who asks in our movement, what is the goal of life? Krishna Prem. Going back to Godhead. Then, ठीक है, etiquette, ले लो, मिल जाएगा. We will get it. At least if we follow certain minimum standards. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. I will stop here today. And then next week, I will not be taking the class. It will be after that. I have some other engagement. I apologize for that. So the last verse of this Gurvashtakam, we will do it on the 22nd of August. 15th of August, I will be taking a break. Some devotees have requested something which they've been wanting to do for some time, and it was conflicting with our evening program. So we will meet again for the last verse of Samsara Davanal on the 22nd of August 2020. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Vanchakalpatarobhyascha kripa sindhubheva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.